Welcome to the RSP Boiler Room. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio, and I can't seem to stay away from this quarterback from Memphis, Paxton Lynch. I've done two RSP Boiler Rooms yesterday featuring a couple of plays from him, and both were really more in the context of decision making and red zone play and managing the game. And they were really ways of looking at quarterbacks overall who come from the college game and have to make the transition to the pro game, and Lynch just happened to be an example of something that I see that's widespread with these prospects and just kind of a natural developmental issue. But I want to show a couple of things that I think are either good or interesting plays of Lynch as a prospect that people need to know about. And the first one is his arm strength when he sets his feet and the ability to throw the ball from the opposite hash. And this play is a good example of that. We're watching a twin receiver set that's going to shift to a 31 personnel. So you have kind of a wishbone looking setup as this receiver works to the wing out of a shotgun or pistol look here, more of a pistol look. And what you're going to see here is a read option fake. Then this wing back, who was the receiver, come around as if he might get the pitch to the end around, which keeps the backside occupied. And then you're going to see Lynch pull the ball, look to the single receiver on the left side, who was running a deep out of 18 yards from the line of scrimmage to the opposite sideline. And watch Lynch just rip this ball. It's a perfect throw. It's a really pretty throw. So, I mean, when you look at Paxton Lynch, one of the reasons that I think people are going to get excited about him is that he has that deep intermediate arm strength to throw from the opposite hash when he sets his feet and just fire the ball. I mean, you can't place that really any better in terms of, delivering it in the way that he did in terms of velocity. Now, maybe you could say, if you're going to be really nitpicky, if he could throw the ball with a little more velocity and maybe a little sooner, the receiver could have turned up here. But I think you're talking about being nitpicky to the point of annoying with your analysis. It's a really nice throw. So that's the first play that I think is important to watch here. This next play is also fun because a lot of the plays that I've seen from Paxton Lynch, when he's not in a set stance or he has to alter his stance to make a throw at the last moment, I've seen a lot of inaccurate throws. He tends to either the ball dips too much or it's low and away, or he throws the ball behind the receiver's break point or in a way that the receiver has to make an underrated or an adjustment of underrated difficulty to make the catch, and it often alters the context of the play to the point that they don't get first downs, or the receiver drops the ball, or it gives the coverage an opportunity to get back into the play, which is going to be something that Lynch is going to have to work on. But this play is one of those that when you're evaluating, you're going to see it after watching him make these plays I just described and wonder if he really meant to throw the ball with the placement that he did. And I want you to consider what I just said when you watch this play develop. This is a play action pass where this front side, where this receiver on the left is going to work across a formation as if he might be taking the end around or jet sweep, however you want to call it. And as that's happening, they try to get the defense moving by having the left side of the line collapse inside. And that's going to include this tight end who's going to work inside and then peel back to the drag route to the flat here as an option. Meanwhile, this tight end on the right side is also going to run a crossing route to the middle of the red zone, of the end zone. And then you're also going to have this receiver who is now the backside player. When Lynch rolls to the left, this receiver is going to come across as the third option. And Lynch is eventually going to hit this wide receiver low and away for the touchdown. And it's a really nice play. But after looking at the context of him missing throws and not having great placement on throws where he has to alter his stance, you wonder sometimes when you look at this if he truly meant to do it. So let's look at it one time as I described it. Low and away, right where the receiver is only going to be able to make the catch. Touchdown. It's a nice play. But let's look at it. We break it down in bits. You have that read option fake. It's really nicely done. Puts the ball towards the chest and sells it. You've got the front side tight end here now, working inside and then going to pull outside. As Lynch pulls the ball and rolls to the left, you see this tight end from the right side work across as this short tight end is doing his work, and then you have the backside receiver working across. Now, when he first sets up, I think he's looking towards this tight end, and I think that makes sense. When I first saw this play, I thought he should hit this tight end right now. Just be decisive, float that ball over this shallow defender because this tight end's open. But I can see how he didn't feel confident about either floating it over there or trying to zip it in there because the way that this route's breaking, he's throwing right into this drop-in coverage. So I think it was smart of him to then stop, turn, and throw off his back foot to this backside receiver who's wide open. But with this defender coming in towards Lynch, I feel like as Lynch makes this throw, you can see, even though it's disguised by the digital scoreboard here, you can see him kind of have to take a little bit off this throw because he's throwing off his back foot and trying to get it off before he gets hit. And the ball sinks a little bit. I don't think he meant to have the ball sink as much as it did, but at the same time, I do believe that he placed it away and a little bit low so that only the receiver had a chance to catch it. The problem is that I could see how evaluators would argue that Lynch didn't mean to make the placement he did, and it was an unintentional or happy accident that this play turned out the way that it did. I wouldn't quarrel with anybody who contended that based on what I've seen with Lynch's placement thus far, but I'm looking at it and I think he meant to throw it low and away. It just dipped maybe slightly more than he really wanted it to because of the defense of this pressure coming in from his right. Overall, a really nice play. I think you can see why Paxton Lynch looks like a promising prospect from the height, the arm strength, the ability to move around and make throws, and also to go through his progressions and keep a play alive. There was an earlier play with the RSP boiler room that I showed in episode number 10 where he's in the red zone and he keeps a play alive to hit his tight end for a touchdown, but I criticize it for him really being able to not take advantage of an earlier window. But this is a case where Lynch shows the ability to keep a play alive when it's necessary to and does a good job. So I think this is the last one I'm doing on Paxton Lynch, but you never quite know with me. I've got a lot more tape to watch. Thanks again for listening to the RSP Boiler Room. For more Boiler Room episodes, you can check me out at www.mattwaldmanrsp.com or the RSP Boiler Room, or the RSP Film Room, at youtube.com. Thanks again. Have a good weekend, everyone.